Hello and welcome. You're tuned into the Leg Up, your domestic thoroughbred weekly podcast, and we've got Tauranga and Riccarton to look forward to this weekend with some great racing on both cards, but probably won't be quite as good as what we saw at Trentham last Saturday. What a fantastic card, Steve. Some great results and some great racing.
Yeah, it was. Headed by Madalena, who won the Oaks. She was around about $1.60, $1.70 shot. She did the job.
Did she what?
Yep. Look, she was over racing a touch early doors, but Opie managed to get her midfield, a little bit of cover, and she was too good down the home straight. And I think what's been a little bit forgotten outside her winning the Oaks was she won New Zealand Bloodstock Filly of the Year with 34 points, 19 points clear of her nearest rival. So a very dominant performance in terms of New Zealand Bloodstock Filly of the Year when it came to a Madalena. Those races that she won in that category was the 8 Carat on Boxing Day, the Fillies Classic at Te Rapa, the Sunline Vase over the Auckland Cup Carnival, and also culminating in the Oaks on Saturday. So she now becomes a very valuable filly.
You were out there on Saturday, Paul, at Trentham, weren't you?
I was indeed, yes.
Yeah, nippy, wasn't it?
There was a wee bit of a breeze coming through. Yeah, it's just a signal that the seasons are a-changing.
Yeah, they are. Some good racing, though. Need I say more? Was dominant as well? Or?
The Tiako juggernaut just keeps rumbling on. I guess they're sort of like the Melbourne Storm of the New Zealand thoroughbred scene.
Didn't they lose last week, Melbourne?
How many championships they won?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, fair. Good point. He was good, need I say more, Steve, wasn't he? Did what he needed to do, got up on the speed and just ran them into the deck in the end. What do we make of Brando?
Brando question mark. I think he spells. We'll see him as a 4-year-old. I think, and Brendan mentioned it last week, and we'll bring BP in here. Around need I say more is that he's shown his versatility up at Ellerslie this time in, able just to sit back. They were 2 1,200 metre races. So when he steps up to 1,400, there's not that early pressure. He was able to come from a wide gate, sit in the first tour running, and he was quite dominant in the end. I know Bonham, there was a few people claiming that she was very unlucky. Not sure she would have beaten Need I Say More, but BP, it was showing again that versatility around Need I Say More. And knowing that it was 7 furlongs v 1,200, he was able just to get across and sit in that first two, where at Ellerslie was around that midfield section.
Yeah, that's right. Morning, lads. Look, he's just a horse that has really gone to another level this season, post his defeat in the 2,000 Guineas, where look, it still had merit in his defeat in the Hawke's Bay Guineas this season. Look, he has just racked up stakes wins after stakes wins, and now you would imagine that it's about putting him aside and getting him ready for Foxbridge Plate / Tarzino. And with what we've seen in this period of racing from him, need I say more, that they are 2 races that he can seriously be a contender for. Foxbridge Plate around Te Rapa, we've seen him win a Northland Breeders by jumping, putting himself on tempo on that occasion, and 1,400 metre Group 1 Tarzino. So they look to be 2 nice races for him to kick off next season. He really does look like he's got a Group 1 in his sights.
And Coventina Bay was good, Pops. Got the job done nicely. She's going to add to the puzzle up there at Te Araha in a couple of weeks' time.
Won't she? I mean, really adds to that race with Levante and Coventina Bay, Avantage. Look, they are the three big names, and Sam Collett will have a decision to make too, because she rides both Levante and Coventina Bay. So, look, the horse was able to get the right run and once bursting between horses. And then, in fairness too to the second horse, really did challenge Coventina Bay, but she found when she wanted to. It was a super day of racing, and look, we mentioned how strong that undercard was in and around the New Zealand Oaks, and it really did set up for a great day of punting, and I'm sure the punters walked away with a few dollars in their pockets with how the day unfolded.
Yeah, knowing those Tiaka numbers we ran through last week, Steve, that might be a case. Anything else we need to touch on out of the day before we push on?
Look, Waisaki. I think he turns out now.
Yep.
Alan Sharrock, he could contest New Zealand Cup or Auckland Cup, any of those 2 staying features next summer. Yep. Waisaki. So, look, he was just too dominant. He had a bit of a freshen up. He was suited at set weights and penalties. Look, the track played indifferent at times. I thought, we mentioned it last week, that the rail might be slightly in the negative zone. It worked out to be there. It probably had to be that 4 or 5 horsewhip channel down that straight. That's where the winners were making their run. But overall, the form played fairly true.
Yeah, okay. Did you miss Rosehill last Saturday, Paul? Sort of left a hole in the afternoon for me. I was waiting for something.
It did.
Decent.
It was a huge hole. But looking forward to it this Saturday. Yeah, well,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
The weather reports are good, apparently. Steve, you might have seen, I think the track still
You're
a
hoping
heavy
to come
range.
back
but
to a slow range, but
Jeez, they
yeah, I think
managed
they're
that.
looking at high 20s in terms of a temperature in the next couple of days, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, okay.
A few Kiwis will be in.
Yeah, not the first day, was it? The Rosehill Guineas usually had some Kiwis there, but it's not sort of to be, is it, this year?
No, a couple of the horses deciding to race on Saturday, which we'll touch on.
Yep.
And then make their way across.
Yeah, we've got Aegon and the Doncaster, but that's a week away, 2 weeks away.
Yeah, a couple of weeks away.
Yeah,
I think,
okay.
yeah.
Something to look forward to anyway. Okay, gentlemen, let's turn our attention forward. Tauranga first, and we've got an intriguing little betting proposition here, Steve. Race number 3.
Maiden of the week.
Oh, Maiden of the week. Oh, here we go.
Gee,
First
sorry,
up of
BP.
the day. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, mate.
First up of the day. Exactly. This is the problem when you don't read the script, Pops. Ruben goes to all this trouble to give us a script, and I never read it. Maiden of the
That's
week,
all right.
please.
It's okay. I was just waving my arms around and just trying to make signals from here, but that's all good. Maiden of the week. What are we going? We're going to go to Te Araha, and I really do think this is a race that you will find quite a few winners out of this race. The race that was won by Lachine, who was very good at the trials leading up to this particular day last Sunday. Second horse found the front, and that being Caminata. You would imagine that will be winning next time to the races. And the form out of this race should be very good with other runners. Look at Insignia getting from well back in the field, finishing home into about 5th position, rocketing home late in the piece. That's probably winning next start to the races as well. So I just love these sort of races. And that was quite clearly for mine the maiden of the week, won by Lachine and Caminata running second.
Yeah, it was impressive. You put it in nice and early. We saw one yesterday that I thought was pretty impressive. Nigel Tiley's maiden came from the back, Steve.
Designer Jeans?
No.
The one that led? No.
It came from the
that
back.
wasn't a maiden, was it?
By
Vita Vichy?
the Bailey trot. That's it,
Oh,
BP.
yes.
That's it, BP. I thought that might have been a late play for maiden of the week, but you couldn't sort of opt out. And Lachine was very good, but that was quite impressive, Steve, from the back.
Yeah,
Silver
by pins. She showed.
pins, is it? Sorry.
Yeah, she showed talent at the trials, and she was well framed in that 1-1 betting when we opened. But look, she was traded in the red and a Volksrad mare, so the pedigree suggests that she's got plenty of toe, and yeah, she might stretch over 1,600 next preparation. She might have 1 or 2 starts. I'm not sure what the plan is before the tracks get really wet, but yeah, she's progressive. There's no doubt about it, and they just keep turning them out, don't they, Tiako?
Yeah, they sure do. Just another one on debut odds on, get on with Tiako, which we learnt last week when we had a look at some of Steve's stats. Right, take 2. Let's go to Tauranga. We've got BP out of the way with his maiden of the week. Apologies there, but as I said, race number 3 on the card is an intriguing little betting contest. The Snow Williams Bailey's Country, 1,600 for the 3-year-olds, and we see the Derby winner back, Steve. What do we do?
Rocket Spade, $2.10 we've put up. Look, there's enough money to suggest they're happy at the 2.10, but a lot of interest in terms of that SP will be dictated on Saturday. Overall, it's a light turnover race. Tina again, that second line at $3. Marchioness $7. Waimuku Falls $8. Spirit of Baz, impressive maiden winner, even though it had a high SP at 15 last start. Saint Elizabeth dropping back to the mile at 17. And with all my heart, $18. No jockey for that individual. Could possibly see it in another race at Tauranga. But at this stage, Rocket Spade, Tina again, they match dollar for dollar, 210 V3.
Gee, which way would you be attacking this, Pops? There's a number of ways you could potentially approach race 3 there at Tauranga.
Look, there is. I'm very wary of Rocket Spade at the same time, though, because of the preparation. And we've heard, too, from the Wexford barn throughout the week that they had their eyes on a couple of options, maybe going to the trials or using 2 races that have come to mind at Tauranga over 1,600 metres as a chance to try and, go back from the 2,400 metres, refreshen, and then get another preparation into the horse. 60.5 kilos, 1,600 metres. It is going to be a small field. That plays into his hands. He has won over 1,600 metres, of course, by winning the Auckland Guineas, but he's drawn the outside gate. We know that he's going to be ridden neutral, and he's going to be ridden with coming with that final finish. Can he get over the top of them, though, or does he just run a nice 2nd, 3rd or 4th and say, yep, cool, we're tip-top ready to go, and on the plane we head, and here we come, Australian Derby. So this makes it a very hard race to bet into right now, and we've got a couple of races to assess how the track will play. I do want to mention one thing about the track condition there at Tauranga on Saturday. Now, if you go back over the last couple of race meetings. Now, the running rail on Saturday will be out 0.5 metre. Now, if you watched the races there last week, of course, it was paved with gold right up against the inside throughout the meeting, and that rail was out 6 metres. Now, if you go back to the 15th of January meeting, it was out 9 metres. It was out 5 metres on the 2nd of January, and on the 11th of December is when it was back to the true. So there's 4.5 metres of fresh ground right up against the rail to 4.5 out. So if it was paved with gold with that 3 metre strip that was fresh ground last Saturday, does that mean that up against the rail is going to be the spot to be out of Tauranga? And so often we see leaders that are very hard to catch around that venue. So I would be really watching a track pattern in those first couple of races, if that is the case, where that fresh ground might have some more gold all over it.
Okay, you've raised all these things. Are we with Rocket Spade, or are we going to be laying it, or are you just going to have to wait to assess, because it's tricky, isn't it?
Well, I like Marchioness for that factor, actually, to be honest with you. I think she is a horse that has positioned up on speed in her 2 last start races, and I think she's a horse who can go forward. I think there's enough about her potential. I think there is a lot of potential there. You're trying to read it off a very small sample size against a horse who's won a couple of stakes races this preparation in a Group 1. But I just feel as though maybe she's the horse who could find that position of being in front up against the rail. And if that's the case, she might be hard to catch. I did like Spirit of Baz with how that horse won last start at Pookie. Drew 1, held the inside spot, and was very hard to catch. And of course, out of an Auckland Cup winning mare in Bazelle. So we know that she's just going to keep on keeping on at the same time. So right now, I'm happy to have a bet on something else in the race, and maybe $7 could be attractive enough. Right now, though, to be completely honest with you, I'm keen to keep out and just not bet yet.
I can understand that, because it makes it tricky, doesn't he, Rocket Spade, Paul?
He does.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
I don't mind the look of that Tina again. Back-to-back wins over 12 and 1,400 metres. Steps up to the mile now. Seemed to have plenty in the tank as she went through the line last time out as well. So, as BP says, she might be able to get across and be in that land of plenty down the straight. I don't mind. Once again, look for those racing patterns earlier on in the day, and then make your decisions after that.
Yeah, okay. That was a tricky one to frame up, Steve, obviously, for you and your team.
There was a discrepancy around Rocket Spade. Personally, I had him a 36% chance, so roughly at 100% market, $2.70 shot. So I think he's well found at $2.10 with the over round. But in weights and measures, he's well found in the race. And he's got a rating of 93 on the back of a couple of stakes wins, including the Derby. It's around about 20 odd rating points clear of any other horse in the race. So naturally, you'd be giving at least 10 kilograms off the rest of the field, including the second favourite and Tina again. I did like Tina again's ability to sprint off 1,400 metres. They ran moderate tempo mid-race at Ellerslie, albeit on a slow track, but her sectionals on the 6.42 splits were the second fastest of the meeting on Derby Day. One horse that was in front of her in terms of sectionals was Entre Villiers. So there's not disgracing itself running second in terms of those splits and behind her. So Tina again, and I liked her way as she ran through the line to suggest she'll get the extra 200 metres, 1,600. So I'm with her. I think she's got the best turn of foot in the race in terms of the race shape. Rocket Spade definitely has the class edge, but I think Tina again's the one to beat. Even if they run moderate tempo, I think she's close enough with that turn of foot, and she won't be too far off them being a light numbers in terms of the overall field. Yeah,
will Rocket Spade be last on the outside in this field, in a 7-horse field? You'd probably think so.
I'd say so. Well, Marchioness probably leads. Waimuku Falls might sit in the top 3, and then you've got Spirit of Baz, who showed, as BP mentioned, gate speed to cover that barrier 1 last start when winning at Pukekohe and holding that spot. So, but overall, I think that the speed is just moderate at best. I don't think Marchioness will record any huge splits in the first 400 to 600 metres. And yeah, it will be interesting to see how that track plays, because it was advantageous along the rail in the first 4 or 5 races last Saturday at Tauranga. It goes back in a few metres. By race 3, I don't think it will be overplayed or developed by jockeys going hard, as we saw a mid-race last Saturday. So it'll be intriguing to see how this is run. It could be quite tactical, but I think Tina again clearly has the turn of foot to come back from maybe 2 or 3 lengths off them at the turn.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he showed his class, George Simon, BP. He spotted the turn last week at Tauranga and picked Bad and Bouge out, and it came from last.
That's right.
Bit of experience there from the great man.
Yeah, and look, there's always one race, isn't there, when a pattern gets overplayed, and that was the right race. It was in the middle part of the program, and there were a few horses who wanted to go forward, and it was in the end just set up for Bad and Bouge, and we saw that. Did we see that again through another race also out of the meeting? But anyway, more about this race. I like Tina again also. I think she's a really nice filly. I like what I saw, how she won at Ellerslie last time out to the races on Derby Day. So I'll go Marchioness just in front of Tina again, and then Rocket Spade to be doing all his best work and saying that he's ready to go. At the same time, if he's close enough, he also just might be just too good also. I mean, that's the other thing that keeps popping in my mind, is that despite what they want to do with him and how he's going to be running in this race, if he's only a matter of a couple off them on the point of the bend and revving up, well, can they hold him out?
Yeah.
Could they actually hold him out? I mean, if he produces like he did in the Auckland Guineas when he was right there ready to strike on the point of the bend in a small field, well, he was too good. So that's what just makes this race very difficult to bet into. I'm happy just to keep out of it, but in terms of giving you some numbers, maybe Marchioness could be that one at $7 and Tina again also. But yeah.
So I know you've been a big fan of Rocket Spade BP right throughout this campaign. I know it's price sensitive around the current quote at $2.10. When does he become a bet for you? Because I know you don't need to twist your arm too often to have a play. So come Saturday afternoon, does it become a bet at a certain price? Say he drifts, he's very soft late. What's that magic number for you to get involved around Rocket Spade?
Oh, look, he'd probably have to be getting to that anything north of 260, I suppose. Maybe somewhere around that mark is when you'd start thinking that he could be an investment, with all those hopes and wishes of getting that right run close to them. Here he comes. He is going to be too good for them. So. Yeah, I'd say around that mark. Yeah, somewhere around 250, 260.
Yeah, the team was sort of basically...
He's probably in no man's land right now.
Yeah,
he's either going to pay and be quite soft late and pay between $2.50, $3, or he's going to get back well and truly into the red. So at 210, we're just in no man's land. I don't think he's going to start that price. It's going to be one way or the other. Yeah. I believe he's going to start closer to $3 than a $2 mark. So
yeah, there are members of your team that basically had exactly the same thought as Pops as well, that he just might be better than them.
Well, he's just through default.
Yeah.
That he only might be 90% screwed down. He's freshened up. This is almost a trial, but you're getting a bit of stake money for it.
Yeah.
And just through default and class edge, he might be just too good.
Yeah, okay. Box trifecta without the favourite in, Paul?
Look, I wouldn't leave the favourite out, no.
Okay.
I have to have him in there somewhere.
Okay. Back end of first fours, maybe.
Definitely Spirit of Baz in there as well.
Yeah, okay.
Only just broke maiden ranks a couple of weeks ago, but really looked good doing it. And Baker Forsman didn't have the worst day yesterday, so...
No, coming right up there. Yeah,
that's just about the time that they...
Bazella, as Pops mentioned as well. So that is intriguing. You'll have to wait and see how that market plays out. But at this stage, not friendless, Rocket Spade. But as Steve says, I think that 210 probably is no man's land around its price. Race number 4, gentlemen, on the card is the J-Swap Contractors Bay of Plenty Cup. And a nice field here assembled, Steve, with a relatively short price favourite.
Yeah, we've got Super Pursuit, a $2.50 shot. I think I opened around about $3.10 from memory. My website's just playing up. But Super Pursuit, $2.50. Raposa Repeater at 4.6. Shares that second line with Remington. Loire, 6.5. Monaco, $8. Then double figures around Stand Tall at 11. Salt Bay, 26. My Gift Resumes at 34. But a lot of the action, in fact, basically one-way traffic in the first 12 hours of trading is round the favourite in Super Pursuit at a $2.50 quote.
Yeah, I saw this as pretty even market, Pops, but there's been a really good push for Super Pursuit this 7 in the book. The son of Poitiers, $2.50 now off an opening of 3, so it's a decent push.
It is, isn't it? And he's a nice horse. He really is. He's a horse that's been heading in this direction all throughout this season. And now, look, he's found himself a nice open handicap race with $32,500 over the 1,400 metres. Everything about him looks nicely situated. He's got himself a low gate in a small field. He goes well right-handed. He's won 4 races right-handed. All of his race wins have been that way. So the ticks are in the right boxes for him, isn't it, in Super Pursuit? And I keep looking at the race and hard to go past him, really. I think the other big dangers could be Remington in the race, running number 6 with Opie Bosson aboard. That was the next one I was sort of always coming back to as that big danger towards the favourite in Super Pursuit. But at this early stage, I'm really with the punters here with this movement around the price around Super Pursuit.
Yeah, what do you think, Paul? 250 Super Pursuit. I mean,
Getting short.
yeah, it is getting a bit short.
Yeah.
I'd give some of these other ones down the page a bit of a chance, to be honest.
Well, as BP said, Opie jumps back on Remington, so that's got to be a big plus. Raposa Repeater, the 61.5. Is that putting you off? It's not putting me off.
No, well, yeah, it's been in good form, hasn't it? So, I mean, yeah.
Loire, really, a Group 1 winner and multiple times placed at group level as a 3-year-old. Is she having a gap year? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, what do we do with Loire,
what do you do?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, she looks a decent price for a Group 1 winner.
Yeah, look, how far and how many times do we keep going back that she's won a Group 1 winner, albeit against her own age? But saying that, this time the season as a 4-year-old, she contested in 2 Group 1s in the spring, the Windsor and the Tarzino. Again, I just feel she's a low percentage play, even though it's a small field here. She'll be back last. The tempo for this particular race is moderate at best. You've got Stan Tall, the obvious and default leader. He can get away with some cheap sectionals here. Monaco might be getting that drag in behind Stan Tall in that second position. But tactically, it could be a bit of a sit and sprint affair. I just got no speed in this race whatsoever outside Stan Tall. So for Loire, who's going to get back, albeit might be only 3 or 4 lengths off them, with a sprint home, look, she might have to produce low 33s for her last 600, which she's just not producing this time and as a 4-year-old mare. So just a low percentage play in the way the map and the overall tempo of the race. But the Raposa Repeater, I don't want to knock this horse, even though it's carrying a big weight. 67 days between runs when it hit Hawke's Bay. I go back on its run at Boxing Day when it beat a nice field, including Star of Bombay, coming from midfield and finishing over the top of them. So it's a big improver. There was no money for it at Hawke's Bay resuming. It's a big improver for me, even though it's carrying 61.5, but does have the services of Danielle Johnson. But overall, I'm just looking at this race tactically. I don't think it's a negative around Super Pursuit because he can sit in that neutral position and not be too far off the leaders. But overall, Stan Tall, and we talk about this map and how the track might be playing, he might be hard to catch a nice price.
Is he talking me into an each-way bet here on Stan Tall at $11? What do you think?
He's convincing.
Yeah, he's here. Well, and Pops has been going on about the paved with gold along the inside there. Well, could we make a case with Stan Tall, Pops?
Absolutely, we could. It's a horse that will run an honest race. That is for sure. One thing I would say around the race shape and a race that I keep coming back to for Super Pursuit is the day that this horse won on a twilight meeting at Ellerslie. Now, it was a day where the rail, in those twilight meetings, they put it out sort of 10, 12 metres, somewhere along those lines. And the first couple of races, it was on speed. Calder just moved at the right time, just before the point of the bend, to be able to build momentum into the race and got over the top of a leader in that particular day, and that would be Mom's Jewel to win over a distance of 1,300 metres. And then it meant that the horse moved on towards New Year's Day and ran second and beaten right on the line by Gold Watch. Look, if Gold Watch was in this race with what we've seen from his progression, he would be right in the market. So he's only been beaten a very small margin by a highly progressive horse. I just feel as though he's a runner, Super Pursuit, even with how the map and the shape might work out. Andrew does know how to ride this horse bang on, and if he can find that right time where he needs to move and present the horse, he can sustain his run. So hence why I keep coming back to him for those reasons. Remington with the better draw. Monaco, is Monaco a horse who can back up from last week? With the aid of being drawn in barrier number 1, can take a spot behind Speed, and then your Salt Bays and your horses like Raposa Repeater are the others that play into the multiples. Loire, maybe a small field will help her chances. I'm not ready to drop her completely yet. I haven't got on my 4 numbers for this race, but I'm not going to give up on her finding her better form maybe through the autumn.
Yeah, okay, good man. 6.4. Not tomorrow for Lawar. You agree with those comments around Super Pursuit? Because Gold Watch has been flying, so Pops has got a nice little link up there.
Yeah, I know the race BP's mentioning, and I can recall it. Look, he's got that natural ability, Super Pursuit, where he can make that sharp turn of foot when he's awkwardly positioned in a race and the tempo up front might be against him. And within maybe 200 metres, he can be midfield to right in the action, the business end of the race, and he can basically run 11 seconds for 200 metres mid-race. So around about that 6 to 4, that's the crucial point of the race, and that horse has the ability to maybe just assess a quarter, just assess that they might not be going hard up front, right, I'm going to make a move and be within 1 or 2 lengths at the business end of the race, and he has that ability, Super Pursuit. Not many horses do, but he definitely does.
Yeah, okay. Was he unlucky last time, Remington? We've had a lot of money for Remington in his last couple of starts. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Look, I thought there was a slight negative right-handed this time in around Remington. All his best figures was left-handed, but he's showing enough right-handed now. Look, I don't know if he was super unlucky. It was a hard race to gauge. I watched it with a few colleagues and reassessed his performance. He was a little bit unlucky. He might have finished in the top 4 rather than that 7th placing. He was never going to beat the obvious leader, the old winner there in Packing Rockstar, but...
No.
Yeah, he's an interesting runner, and again, the betting profile around Jamie Richards, Opie Boston, will be right in the mix.
Yeah, okay. What do you think, Paul? Nail it down. Give us some numbers here in the cup.
Yep, I've got Remington on top with Super Pursuit.
Yep.
Raposa Repeater, and I'm going to throw in Salt Bay. She's taken a wee bit of cash off me lately, but I don't want to leave her out this time.
Salt Bay out there at 26, Steve. You've always had a little bit of time for Salt Bay.
I did. I thought it would go through the grades 12 months ago. It just hasn't quite come up this campaign. That's represented in his price at $26, or her price at $26. But look, her best figures have been at Gate Par or Tauranga, so maybe that's one advantage she's got going into Saturday.
Man barely standing with Remington, the Te Akau Tangerine Army BP. You're going to go with a favourite here in this one?
Yeah, I'll go with Super Pursuit. Yep, definitely. But look, this is an 8-horse race. We have mentioned 7 of them. The only horse we haven't mentioned is My Gift, with Paul Moati finding Salt Bay in his numbers. So this is me mentioning My Gift at $34 fresh up this afternoon for Tim and Margaret Carter. But yeah, Super Pursuit I'll go with as a bet in the race.
Yep, okay. Super Pursuit, $2.50 for BP. It's the way to go. Race number 6, gentlemen. This is the main race of the day, and it brings together a very nice field. The Ultimate Mazda Japan Trophy Group 2 over the mile, and headed up by a talented horse, which is shortened already, Steve, I see.
Your best back runner clearly is number 2, Prix de Feu. 310 we offered on Wednesday afternoon. Now trading at 260, accounts for 40% of the hold. Travelling light 5 out of turn to 550. Packing Rockstar up to the 1600 for the first time, 850 remains that price. Hypnos 9 out to 10 shares that price with Syracuse, who was a $9.50 shot on opening, now $10. Gino Severini 9 out 11. Vernon Me 10 out to 13. Go Nicholas 13 out to 15. Ocean Billy, the Auckland Cup winner, 21 into $18. Currently our biggest liability, naturally, with the lay price.
Oh, shout out to Rotorua.
Yeah, they've got a bit to spend, haven't they?
They certainly have.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Imelda Mary, 17 out to 21. Best of the rest, Germanicus. Blinkers go on, $26.
Yeah, it is a good field. We know that. I can state that as a fact. But yeah, they really do like this favourite here, BP. I'm calling it second up, Prix de Feu into this, and 2 from 3 second up, and looks hard to beat. The money's certainly there.
He's got a great 1600 metre record, this horse, Prix de Feu. You know, you go through what he's done last season, for instance. He was good enough to be Group 1 placed in the Weight for Age Classic out of Otaki. He was also, winning a Ritual Mile over 1600 metres. This season, he of course has been placed in a J Swap. Go right back, through the spring. He was Foxbridge, Windsor Park, Livermore. He went through that particular series, and he hasn't been too far away in everything that he has done. This horse Prix de Feu. So now he comes to a set weights and penalties 1600 metre race, where there are, a couple of big guns in the race, but this is maybe his real opportunity to make hay at the same time. So I think you can understand that move around him. there is another Group 1 winner in the race that we need to mention in Travelling Light. I think this is a horse as a 3-year-old, won over 1,600 metres in Levin Classic. She is giving the indications that she's not too far away from her better form once again. Of course, with her most recent placing over the 1,600 metres behind Avantage in the 3-year-old and the Weight for Age Classic out of Otaki, and was 4th in the Group 1 behind Avantage in the BCD Group Sprint. So they give you the indication she's not too far off the mark. Ocean Billy, well, look, he was 3rd in this race last year. That wasn't coming off the back of an Auckland Cup win, but he was placed in this race last year. Look, who's to say that he's not going to put up a run? Because he's a tough customer. I mean, he's a hard horse to have in your numbers, but you can understand why there's been that little bit of a move. And those that did get some reward off his win a couple of weeks ago, of course, they'll be keen to butter up and have a bit of 21s. And he's a horse that races well at this venue. So I wouldn't even be surprised if he gets a little bit tighter in the market too, Ocean Billy.
Oh, gee, don't say that. The liability will be huge. We know about Prix de Fer. Prix de Fer is a good horse. Travelling Light, Steve, I want to touch on, and just your thoughts around her and where she's at.
Yeah, I think she's got a sense of timing for Saturday's assignment. She's down in the weights with 54.5. She's been at 57 in the last 2 assignments at Weight for Age. She only had the 1 run in the spring, so she didn't really have any residual fitness heading into the summer/late part of the autumn. It was 140 days fresh and into the Westbury Classic. She found Levante far too good on that occasion, but I just feel she's building to this kind of race. She might not be quite up to the Group 1 level in terms of the Avantages of this world, but I think it's set weights and penalties, 54.5. She draws well. She should finish or should place herself in the first half of the race. Got 550. She's gone out of turn with the warm support around Prix de Fer. I can't see her drifting here too much. Maybe 1 or 2 more rolls potentially if that money continues for Prix de Fer, but I think she's a clear second favourite from what I see.
Yeah, okay. Packing Rockstar Connections, Paul will be waiting to see whether I'm going to back it or not before
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, if I leapt off last time and it dead set bolted in. So.
Well, he got the perfect ride from Billy Pin.
Did he what?
Last time, straight to the front, and just was too tough for them.
Yeah, he was. Who do you like, mate? Are you with the fave here?
I'm very much with the fave here.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, bet against the Tangerine Army at your own peril. Steve put the numbers up last week for all to see, and then they did the same thing again at Trentham.
Yeah. Just not learning our lesson, are we?
Well, yeah, just don't stop backing them until they don't give you a return.
Yeah, no.
What about Hypnos? You were pretty keen on it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was.
Big weight, 62 kegs. Set weights and penalties, 57. Just hasn't been the right race shape last 2 starts.
Caught one last time, but unlucky.
This looks like the race, though.
It does.
It does. I just can't get away from the top of the market.
Yeah, got you again.
It has.
Yeah. Okay. Anything down the page here, Pops, that we need to... You said Ocean Billy. The Gino Severinis of the world, the Vernon Mees. There's some talented gallopers here.
Yes, Gino will get me once again.
He always does. For you. Yeah.
Got a little soft spot for Gino. So look, his run was tidy behind Packing Rockstar when working home over the 1,400 metres. So going to 1,600 metres is no issue for him. He's got a good record over that distance. So look, I think he's a big place player in the race. The other one maybe is Syracuse. Now this horse did place at this venue at Tauranga in November, of course, in the Tauranga Stakes. When finishing into 3rd position behind Concert Hall and Cinerama. Now that's Group 1 form out of that race, and she's run 3rd. I just feel as though she might get, can she get the right run from barrier number 1? Well, I don't know if she can, but if she can somehow get a decent enough run from that position of holding a spot where 3 back the fence would be nice. If she could get into a position like that, I think she becomes a player for those that are wanting to maybe take some fixed Quinellas or fixed Exactas with Prix de Fer on top, and maybe taking a few in behind if you're looking to play that particular fixed option. So she's in my numbers for that reason, with her maybe finishing late in the piece. They're the other ones. Look, Yearn is trying to find her best form again. She is a Group 1 place mare over 1,600 metres in a Thorndon Mile. You've got Hypnos, who's won a 1,600 metre feature race this season in the Copelands. So there is a lot of depth to this race, even though we are both Mawari and myself are keen on Prix de Fer winning the race. There is some good depth to the Japan Trophy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, are you surprised, Steve? But, with the depth of this race that Pops has touched on, with the sort of one-way nature of this betting traffic around the favourite, what do you make of it? Do you see it sort of a flip back potentially, or it's just going to, the way the profile is, it's just going to continue to be Prix de Fer until they jump?
I think it will be. I obviously priced him a little bit higher than his current situation at $2.60. But again, we just don't drift too many in feature races when it comes to Jamie Richards and Opie Bosson horses, particularly on race day. So if you see $2.60 on Saturday morning, I don't think it's going to drift one or two turns, even closer to race start time. So with Prix de Fer, like I mentioned, he counts for 40% of total turnover. Look, I might have been a little bit misled by his performance at Ellerslie. I know he had a lot left in the tank in terms of heading to this race. He didn't win by a big margin, but the first 400, 2 seconds below standard. So it did really sit up for a sit and sprint, which when it's a sit and sprint affair, you can't put margins on the rivals. It was a very workingman, trainingman effort. Prix de Fer at Ellerslie over 1,500 metres. Beauty Star was the default leader on that occasion, and Prix de Fer only got the best of Beauty Star in the last 100 metres. But I don't think he was ever going to put a margin in that field, even though he started around about $1.60 in the open 1,500 at Ellerslie. So maybe a little bit misleading. He didn't put that field away purely on how they ran the race in the first 400 metres.
Yeah, okay. Give us some numbers, Paul. You've got the fave on top here. The
Prix de Fer on top, Hypnos in behind.
Yeah, you've got it in there. Yep.
Syracuse needed that first up run.
Quick improver.
I think so.
Beaten second up, I see.
Yeah, I like the win in the Karaka Classic, I think it was.
Yep.
A while back. I thought that was very,
Money
very...
really wasn't there first up at Matamata either.
No. No, so there, and travelling light in there as well.
Yeah, good on you. Okay. No, Pops, you're with Prix de Fer as well?
I am. Biggest danger will be, I think, Travelling Light, runner number 10, just with how she's tracking and coming into this race, moving up to 1,600 metres. And then my two value hopes in the race will be Syracuse from a nice draw, expect her to be finishing late. And then I was sort of mixing up between Gino Severini and Hypnos as my others in behind, so I'll go with Gino just in front of Hypnos.
Gino, he got in, he snuck in there again.
What about Germanicus? What do we do with Germanicus, BP? He was touted to be definitely a Group 1, 2, 3 galloper this time last year when winning the anniversary, etc. But he just hasn't come up this prep, has he?
He hasn't. No, he hasn't. I mean, this preparation, this season, he has not got warm. Same again last time to the races when beaten in behind Packing Rockstar. His price indicated that too. I mean, he was safe in the market, wasn't he? And he went stone cold in the market due to Germanicus. So I'm not sure. What to do with him. I just want to sit back and watch and hope that he can be running on and hitting the line. And if that's the case, well then a race like the Easter Handicap is going to be a race that I'm guessing that they've got their eyes on. A few of these horses are probably looking towards a race like that. And if he runs an honest race, well then maybe. But happy to watch him. I like the horse, but happy to watch on Saturday.
Few keeping the faith out there though. $31.
Well, blinkers on
26.
normally gives punters 1 or 2 more chances. It can be an overplay gear change. Only 10% of horses win when the blinkers are added, and that's watered down that percentage on occasions potentially like this, where the stable are desperate to try and find some form out of this horse or out of any horse that showed ability early in its career. They add the blinkers, trying to get the horse rejigged or back to the mark. As a desperate measure, and overall it just waters down that overall percentage. That I found that 10% only win first up when blinkers are added.
That's interesting.
You're not trying to balance the book, are you?
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to
blinkers
turn them
on.
off. The Danica guy fans won't fall for that sort of blatant sort of rubbish, will they? Stats from you today, stats man.
No stats.
Okay, we'll move on. Guys, let's head down south. We want to touch on a race down there because it is a very nice race. That's the South Island Breeders. I'm going to get the name dead right here, team. Valachi Down South Island Thoroughbred Breeders, Group 3, race number 8 on the card, and brings together a very, very interesting betting field.
Yeah, they're very keen on the point end of the market, including the favourite Balfacino's drawn the ace Sam Win for Stephen Marsh. 460 was posted on Wednesday afternoon, now trading at 380. That includes a $500 bet at the top fluck of 4.6. In front of Just Fabulous in that second line, 6 into 550. Same betting profile around Lady Rudolph, 6 into 5.5. All About Magic at $6. Bronte Beach, $6.50. Pull your socks up at $8. Severine at 14. Pounce at 15. Zabay 21. Black Book 26. Tradition at 31. But overall, it's a nice little plunge early doors around number 1, Belfacino, 460 and a 380.
Yeah, she's certainly a mare in form. BP is our favourite, but there's some good form from the top of the country to the bottom here in the thoroughbred breeders.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of form to work with, isn't there? Look, with Belfacino, under the conditions of this race, it really plays into her hands, though, doesn't it? With what she's done in her last couple of starts, she's won at weight for age level, beating Race Command, and then an open handicap where she carried 59 kilos. So she comes back to set weights and penalties, and she's at 56 kilograms with a draw of barrier number 1, and she likes to lead. She's just a mare in form, and when a mare can find form like this, they're normally a nice bet. So it's hard to see her out of the money anyway. If you're looking towards trying to find a nice sort of anchor place bet for multis throughout the weekend, this would be a nice little place anchor, I thought, and I think she could win the race. Other chances, well, there's a heap of them though, isn't there? I thought Bronte Beach actually was very good when going through the form out of that white robe when running into 6th position behind Belfacino. Now, on that occasion, worked home into 6th position, was the equal second fastest last 400 in the white robe with how the horse rounded off the race. Stephen Marsh trains. I was sort of thinking maybe that could be that one at a touch of value for trying to find something away from the favoured runners and Bronte Beach that could be worth including. But yeah, I do keep coming back to Belfacino.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Paul? Competitive race, but which way are you getting?
Well, Marshy could have a big day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do like the look of Belfacino.
Yeah.
And the money just makes me like even more. But I can't look. It could be another favourites day this weekend.
Wash your mouth out.
Which might cost Steve and the boys a few dollars.
Yeah. Look, it's already been backed in as well, as you say. When the money's there straight off the bat.
I've had a look at some stats, just some jockey stats.
Oh yeah.
In regards to Riccarton, and this is for 12 months worth of data from the 22nd of Feb 2021 back. So 12 months worth of data.
You do have some stats. You lied to me before. Carry on.
The best strike rate at Riccarton by a jockey over that period.
Tina Komanagi.
Lisa Allpress.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
Okay,
yeah.
So you may want to factor that in.
Sure.
After that, we've got Danielle Johnson, Michael McNabb, Megan Justine. So obviously Danielle and Michael aren't down there. Samantha Wynn, 12% strike rate at Riccarton over that 12-month period.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, the Lisa. Well, I think customers have worked that out by themselves.
Yeah, they certainly.
They didn't need your stats to climb on Lisa at Riccarton.
No. Look out.
Yeah, okay. Look, I wanted to talk about Pull Your Socks Up, Steve, quickly, because this horse I've had a bit of time for in the past, and look, she was a good win 3 starts ago. Can she step up to this level?
Yeah, personally, I wouldn't be having her.
Yeah.
I just feel, just on what I've seen, that she may be 1 or 2 lengths off the mares at set weights and penalties.
Okay.
Rated 72. She's not well off either favourite. Pull your socks up, but I don't blame Connections taking down there and trying to chase some black type. This may be her last campaign. They might look to the Broodmere paddock as a 6-year-old. I don't know, but in terms of some cheap black type, I don't want to undersell it. It's not cheap black type, but it's a grade below the Northern quality of horses. And she deserves her chance, there's no doubt about it. But I reckon she's maybe just 1 or 2 lengths below the best in this market.
He makes me nervous, Pops, when you and Man-Belly Standing are lining up everywhere.
Well, after Stat Me Up Moati has just filled us with a bit more confidence on trying to play this race, with maybe Just Fabulous going into the mix now for Lisa Allpress and Terry Ray. But yeah, look, I just keep coming back to Belfacino, and this is a good meeting to really sink your teeth into, the whole meeting, because of what's coming up in Riccarton. This is their period now of racing. Through the Easter Carnival. There's a lot of good racing coming up through the autumn period out of Riccarton. So not just this particular race, but the whole day itself. Just might want to pay close attention to some of the races, and if you're looking to do your form for the next few meetings upcoming down there. But I do like Belfacino. I was taken by how All About Magic ran last time to the races, but of course when winning the Timaru Stakes over 1,400 metres, I think she has to be presented with a chance, with Ryan Elliott going down and riding there on Saturday. Bronte Beach with what she's done in recent starts and how she hit the line in the white robe. And then after that, look, there's a lot of horses here that can fill a minor placing with your Lady Rudolph's Just Fabulous and pull your socks up. They've all got their individual chances.
Okay, yeah, good point about the meeting. It's a nice meeting. It's some nice races. That 3-year-old race, the race prior is a very good one, and you want to be doing the form for later on. That's a very valid point from BP.
That is a good race there. You're right. Yeah, that is a super race. That I mean, you've got Leela Waller in there for Chris Wood and Darren Dennis. That horse looks very well placed to be heading down there and having a shot at a race like that. And also a Tissue, who, as you know, was the horse that didn't win the Wanganui Guineas. But imagine if it did, you guys would have been floored. That's a nice race there with some good northern interest in there.
Yeah, that's another one for Stephen Marsh here at Tissues.
Yeah, only just missed as well.
Yeah, Wanganui. No, but let's not talk about that. Right.
I think BP was going to retire after that race.
Exactly. Do you need 4 numbers here, or you just need one in the thoroughbred breeders, Belfacino?
Belfacino. I like the stablemate as well, Bronte Beach, and Just Fabulous.
Yeah, okay. Very good. That's going to be a cracking day, and Pops makes an excellent point about running the eye over this meeting with an eye to future meetings for Riccarton. Okay, boys, well, we're probably heading towards time. I can just getting the word in my ear here that we're getting somewhere around about it, and might be better the daytime here. Paul, we'll start with you. What happened last week? Oh, what happened last week? Hacking Joy was your bit of the day.
You've blocked it out, have you?
I couldn't care. Oh, yes, I have blocked it out.
Yeah.
We'll have to fight another day.
We will.
Talk about that. No, what about this week? Onwards and upwards, please.
Yep. I'll head to the Japan Trophy, and I do like the favourite here. Diakau, here we go. Get me out of the red.
Screen for you.
Prix de Feu, won over 1,500 metres on Derby Day, finished second to Coventino Bay back in December, and finished in front of Vigor Winner in that race, who of course has gone on and won a couple of races since then. So Prix de Feu, Opie Bosson.
Money's there as well.
Let's make some money.
Let's make. Why not? Good man. Prix de Feu to get back on track for you. Stephen, you had a win last week. Are you back in the greens? The big question. I'm looking forward to seeing this number come up.
I don't think
Coventino Bay did the business. What about this week? Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Unlucky.
We'll get in the green after Saturday.
Yeah.
I've got Martina again for a couple of reasons. I just feel the overall race shape suits her. She's got the best turn of foot in this race. I'm taking a slight set against the Derby winner and Rocket Spade. At the current price, he's just a little bit short. So Tina again at $3. Won't be totally shocked if she started favourite, but it'll be intriguing how that marketplace develops on Saturday afternoon. But I'm pretty keen on Tina again. She's going to go through the grade. She's black type.
Okay, nice. $3 currently there. BP, go to you, our star performer. Bit of the daytime, please.
You missed last week, so need to get back on the horse. Look, I'm going to make a little play here for a horse that's in a maiden race on Saturday, by the name of Another Entree in race number 1. Now, this horse was enormous in defeat at Counties when sitting 3 wide on speed, and that was in the Marchioness race where Marchioness led. I think this horse got just a pinch of cover, could have beaten Marchioness. And now, we've spoken about Marchioness being a big chance in the race that Tina again and obviously Rocket Spade line up in the 3-year-old over 1,600 metres. I was really taken by how this horse ran first up to the races. He has a good draw. Andrew Calder aboard. A Calder found the right lanes to be in the first 2 races at Tauranga last week. Just hoping if this horse can spring the gate, sit in front or outside leader, I think he's going to be awfully hard to beat. I really do like his chances. I'm keen to have a bet. I'm keen to get involved here. I can't wait to see some prices.
Yeah, trained by the Wizard too.
Yes,
the
Wizard.
Yeah. Todd Mitchell.
Right.
Any indication for BP? He's salivating.
Yeah, no indication as yet.
Okay.
It's just dropped down a couple, though. I'll give you the tip, BP.
No, we don't play that game.
From 12 to 10? Okay.
Don't think so.
No, at this stage, still work on
just
them.
working on that
that's
first
all
race.
right. No, that's it. Well, okay. Oh, that's fine. Let's hope we have 3 winners there, gentlemen, for tomorrow afternoon. Before we go, Pops, Rose Hill tomorrow. Hopefully we're live for that. Golden Slipper Day. That'll be a big one for everyone.
Let's hope so, yeah. And look, speaking to the trainers, the New Zealand trainers about the movement of the meeting. Look, everyone seems pretty comfortable with the championships going out an extra week, hence why we see Rocket Spade, and it just gives these horses another opportunity to get another week under the belt, another run. Same for Amaralina when heading towards an Australian Oaks. So let's hope that it means we can see more Kiwi success through the back end of the carnival. Quick thinker, maybe on a very wet track. 2,400 metres. He's already had a couple of runs over there. I think he runs in the Manion Cup. He's at about $11. Is he a bet on a wet track?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that. I think race 2, the Manion Cup. So, he could he will relish conditions. Steve, before we let you go, I want to just have one quick word about the Te Aroha breeders and how that sheep, because we talked about Coventina Bay. She's obviously going there. How that...
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting a bit like that if we get a full lineup.
Might open a market today around that.
Yeah, great.
Still 2 or 3 weeks away. Te Aroha breeders, Avantage will be a favourite. She'll be close, flip of the coin odds. Levante might be around that $280, $290 price.
Yep.
Coventina Bay might be around that $450, $5 price on opening. So those 3 really dominate it. Intriguing to see if any 3-year-olds contest this year's Te Aroha breeders. I just don't think it's the right year for a 3-year-old to contest when you've got those 3 dominating the market. Maybe the Cornflower Blues, Bonhams potentially could go that way. But years gone by, I'm not against 3-year-olds at this time of the year running in the Te Aroha breeders. But this year, I just feel it's a little bit tough around the Avantages of this world and Levantes. But I think the last filly to win the Te Aroha breeders was Special Mission 208.
James McDonald's first
group one.
one.
Yeah. But I don't know, BP, do you want to see a 3-year-old? I mean, we all want to see a 3-year-old contest against the older horses, but is it the right year when you've got those 3 older mares that have been dominating the higher class races this season?
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, especially with Avantage in the race, an 8-time Group 1 winner, it does make it difficult, doesn't it? Because sometimes when you get to this race, it is that right sort of Group 1 where let's roll the dice, let's have a crack at a Group 1. But, gee, I don't think we've ever come across the potential of a Te Aroha breeders looking as strong as this in terms of talent. So, look, Avantage has already beaten Levante this season with what happened in the BCD Group Sprint. Another thing that I'd say would be an advantage to Avantage is that the Te Aroha track can, as long as the straight is, it's so hard to catch leaders there at times. You know, if this can be a race and a race track where leaders can be hard to run down, Avantage finds a forward position and running. Like, I know Coventina Bay and Levante can all peel off the fast sectionals, but boy, they're going to have to be right on their game to try and peel an Avantage if she's getting it all her own way in front. Look, I know we're weeks out from the race and we're just trying to, spitball a few ideas here. But, I'm just thinking of how the race could pan out if it was run today. Avantage sits on speed and Levante and Coventina Bay are coming with a last rush. They actually have that advantage on them to be able to still hold them out. So I can see why you're thinking she's going to be, the favourite and the one to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something to look forward to. We're going to hold you to that market for breeders, Steve.
Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So, we'll
delayed coverage.
We'll keep an eye on that. But closing thoughts, man, barely standing, Paul Moati. What something great to leave us on, profound,
thanks.
Something profound.
Well, nothing profound. Just looking forward to watching the racing here and over in Australia. Fingers crossed. Hopefully they get underway at Rosehill this Saturday. No. And I'll be up in Hawke's Bay.
Oh, yeah, you've got
watching Crowded House. Yeah.
Oh, okay, very nice. You do
love
a bit
you,
of
Neil.
charity, but doing a bit of charity, doing a bit of work for charity on tomorrow. Is that correct?
No, I did that last weekend.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. Child Cancer.
Oh, good man.
Charity golf tournament. It was,
good day.
A lot of money raised. It was great.
A bit hungover on Saturday.
It was a hot day out there on the course.
Day, sorry, yeah. Just not quite, didn't stay hydrated. Thank you, Stephen, for your input as always. Appreciate your thoughts. And thanks, Pops, to you and all that you do and spending the time with us. Enjoy your Saturday, and you enjoy your Saturday at home as well. Thanks for joining us again. We'll be back in 7 days' time to have a look at Sire's Produce Day. This has been The Leg Up.